Today's tutorial, you're going to be learning how to pick one piece collar into your shirt dress. So this shirt dress, I've already coupled it down. I've stitched the side seams together, the shoulder. What is left of me now is to fix in the collar, and I thought I should bring it onto here for you guys to see. So the first thing you're going to do is to fold the neck of your shirt into two and then notch the center, and you're going to have to use your measuring tape to measure all around the neck. Okay, and you can see I've folded into two. So after measuring it, what I have is 10.25. I'm going to still go ahead and open it up just to ensure that I have the right measurement, and then from one end of my placket to the other, I'm going to measure using my measuring tape all around it, and what I have right there is 20.5 inches. Now what I'm going to do next is to bring in this paper. So that is what I'm going to use to draft out my pattern, because this fabric is very light and slippery. So what I'm going to do now is to divide this 20.5 into 2, which gives me 10.25, which I had initially when I folded the neck of this shirt dress into 2. Okay, so I'm going to put away the shirts, and we are going to use this paper to draft out the pattern. Okay, so please pay good attention. So you can see my paper right here. I'm going to ensure that this my paper is enough for me to have about 10.25 inches on fold. You can see that I folded my paper into two, and then from the folded end I measured out 10.25 inches. Okay, and I went ahead to use my straight ruler to mark my line across just like this. Okay, so next, what I'm going to do next is to go ahead right on that line. I'm going to, from the down part, measure in half an inch. All right, and this 10.5 inches I'm going to equally divide into two again, and whatever you have, you go ahead from the folded part and measure it and mark out. So now I'm going to use my curved ruler and then connect my lines together. Can you see what I'm doing? And after connecting this line, the next step is for me to determine the length of my collar. Okay, now for how high I want this collar to be, that is the collar stand, I am making use of 1.25 inches. You can make use of 1 inch, it depends on your preference. So right from the down part of my collar stand, I marked in 1.25 inches and then connected the lines. Okay, now that I'm done, next from the upper part of this collar stand, I'm going to go in by 1 inch and then connect it just like this with a curve. Okay, so I'm going to connect it with a slight curve to the down part. And now again, because this is a one-piece collar, if you are to draft out a two-piece collar, we are going to first of all cut down the collar stand before drafting out the main collar itself. But because this is a one-piece collar, we're going to draft this together, which indicates that this is a cut together collar. Okay, so I went ahead to determine the length which I want for the main collar, and I made use of 2 inches. So I went ahead to mark it out and then connected it just like this. And the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and cut this out. Now you guys, you can see that we are using a paper for the drafting. Okay, you can equally make use of a peplum stay to draft out this, or a gum stay. All right, but because I don't want my collar very hard like men's collar, I made use of a paper first. After everything, I'm going to cut it out on the lightest type of interface, which we call in Nigeria paper gum. Okay, so after I cut out my collar, this is what I have. Now for my collar to stay really cool right at the back of my neck, okay, for it to fit in well, to sit well at the back of my collar, I'm going to go down from the folded part by 1/4 inch and then connect it to the middle of my collar. And you guys, this is what we have. Now what you're going to do next is to bring in your paper gum. Okay, note this is because I want my collar not to be too hard. Okay, but if you want your collar really hard, you can make use of a collar stay or a peplum stay. Okay, but right here I'm making use of a paper gum, so I'm going to go ahead and cut exactly what I have on this paper into the paper gum. Okay, so I am done cutting it out. Next I'm going to bring in my fabric, which I'm going to use to cut out this collar, and I'm going to place my pattern on top. You can see that I placed my fabric right side facing each other, and if you take a look at the fabric, you would notice that there is kind of joining. This is because my fabric wasn't enough, so I joined two fabrics together. Okay, so after I placed and hold it down with my pins, I'm going to go ahead and cut my collar, but I'm going to be inserting 1/2 inch all around my patterns. Okay, so you can see what I am doing right there. I'm trying to insert 1/2 inch all around my pattern, and that will be for my sewing allowance. So you guys, you can see what I have right there. I'm going to go ahead and remove this pattern and then place in my paper stay. Okay, I'm going to go over to my ironing table and then iron this into the fabric just like this, making sure that I'm leaving out the 1/2 inch seam allowance all around it. Okay, so now you can see I've ironed the paper gum into it, and if you take notes, you will notice that one part of the fabric was folded in. Okay, the down part of the fabric, the 1/2 inch right there, was folded in. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pin this down and then move over to my sewing machine and sew all around this apart from the down part. So I'm going to sew the sides, the upper parts, and then leaving the down parts, which I'm going to sew into my shirt dress. Okay, so you guys, if you take a look, I've sewed it down. So what I'm going to do next is to go ahead and place my notches and then cut out some excess allowances. Okay, so after cutting out these excess allowances, I'm going to place my notches so that by the time I turn this over to the right side, it's going to stay really flat. Okay, so right now you can see I'm placing my notches, and once I am done placing my notches, I'm going to go ahead and give it a good press after turning it over to the right side. Okay, so kindly do yours like that and you're going to get exactly what I have right here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to the right side, making sure that I'm using my scissors or any sharp object or pointy objects to bring out the parts that might be stuck in. Okay, so I'm going to go to my ironing table right now and give this a good press so you can see what I have. You can see that because of that 1/2 inch that I folded in, okay, one part of the 1/2 inch is outwards. Can you see? So what I'm going to do is to bring in my shirt dress and then fold my collar into two to indicate the center. So what I am going to do right now on my sewing machine is to make sure that the two centers are aligning with each other. okay, and I'm going to use my pins to hold them in place, and then I'm going to, from the inner part of my shirt dress, stitch using 1/2 inch all around the neck of my shirt. Okay, so I'm going to sew it now and come show you what I have right here. So you guys have sewed this. You can see I sewed from the inside. Guys, if you want to really get a neat finishing, don't sew from the outside, sew from the inside and then turn over to the right side, because you want to see what you are sewing on the right side. Okay, so I'm going to go over to my machine and sew it right now. So you guys, this is what we have. I am done with this shirt dress. Okay, I am actually done with the collar right now, and you guys, this is how to fix your one-piece collar into your shirt. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you do, please give it a thumbs up, share this video to get more people to see it. See you in my next tutorial. Bye.